Hey friends, welcome and thanks for joining me for class today. If I'm a new face to you, my name is Kait and I am so thankful to have you here. Now I've got a lovely gentle flow for us today, a nice slow flow class that's really going to help us feel better in our back, at least I hope so. I don't know about you, but I've been seated a lot today doing a lot of editing work on some of my other YouTube videos, and when that happens I know that I just need to be kind to my spine and give it a little rest and relaxation. So let's begin laying down on our back. Plant your feet into the floor and take a moment to arrive. Your eyes can be opened or maybe closed, and just let your hands relax wherever feels best. Begin to focus on where the back of your body is meeting the mat. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Big sigh out the mouth. Again, a great big inhale. Big breath out. Once or twice more, just like that. Allow yourself to settle. Notice if there's any tension across your face, your jaw. Begin relaxing those muscles. Is there tension across your chest? Through the back of the shoulders? Almost imagine your shoulders spreading a little wider, taking up more space on the ground beneath you. Follow your spine down your back to the lower portion of your spine, our lumbar spine. Naturally, there is a small curve there. Lightly press into the feet and allow the low back to connect to the mat. Release, let that go. Let your natural arch happen again. Once more, press down into the feet. Low back connects. Let it go. Move through that shape a few times. Going faster or slower than me, it's perfectly fine. The next time that your low back connects to the mat, keep it there. Reach your hands overhead. Eyes can stay closed, or you might start to blink them open. Pause for a moment here, palms facing up. A little bit of weight or pressure into your feet so your low back can stay connected and long. Press down harder into the floor with your right hand and stretch longer through the right side body. Press deeper into the left foot and grow longer out the left side body. Take that side to side again. You might point your nose in the opposite direction as you do so, just waking up the body. Even yourself out. Simply let the arms soften into the mat beneath you. Heel toe your feet just a little wider than your hips. You might allow the natural curve to happen again in the low back, or you might keep it imprinted. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, let your knees fall to the right. Come back center, exhale, fall to the left. Allow your windshield wiper movement to happen a few more times at your own pace. Going faster, slower than me. Maybe your sway, your windshield wiper is bigger or smaller. Return to center after you've evened yourself out. Heel toe the feet back in line with the hips once more. Actively stretch through the arms, through your side body. Palms are facing the sky. Shoulders relax down the back. Take an inhale and lift your pelvis off of the mat, rising to a small bridge. Exhale from the sternum, roll back down. Inhale, tip the pelvis, rise up. Exhale, roll down. Just waving through your spine at your own pace. Each time you lift up, take a moment to squeeze where your thigh and your glute connect, or what I like to call our thut, our thigh butt. Making sure we're turning on our glutes. Our hamstrings can be so helpful in preventing any sort of back injury. Oftentimes when we do have tightness in certain areas of the body, it can be a possible sign of weakness. So there could be a little weakness through your glutes, your hamstrings, if we constantly have some low back pain. Roll all the way down, pause, and relax again. Once more, heel toe the feet a little wider than the hips and return to your windshield wiper, back and forth. Bring yourself back to center. Heel toe the feet in line with the hips once more. Bring your knees into your chest. Make yourself a teeny tiny little ball. Just give yourself a great big hug. You might rock a little side to side or start to rock up and down. Finally, rock and roll a little bit bigger, trying to give your spine a little massage. Now, this always feels really good on my back, but if a rock and roll does not feel good to you, of course, skip it. Come on up to a tall seat when you feel ready. Take an easy seat, whatever feels good for you. Pause sitting tall and straight, trying to lift up and out of the waist, shoulders down the back, ears lift high. Take a big deep inhale, extending your hands to the sky. Exhale, drop one hand down and lean to your side. Pause for a moment, straighten the arm on the floor, separate your shoulders and grow long through the extended side body. Maybe wiggle the fingers. Point your nose down towards your hand on the floor. Look forward. Point your nose up towards the extended hand. Look forward. Flip your palm to face to me a few times. Cactus your arm. Straighten and extend. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, lengthen and extend. Last time, cactus, hold. See if you can push the elbow of the hand further back, and once more, point your nose up to the sky. Take a big breath, look forward to me, drop into a forward fold. Now, you might keep your arms straight, you might drop your forearms to the ground, or even allow the head to touch. Everyone's a little different, you don't have to look like me. Nod the head yes, shake it no. Roll yourself up to a seat. Big, deep inhale, both hands lift high. Exhale, left, opposite hand down, opposite hand high. Press the palm into the floor, broaden across the chest. Think about extending through your side body, almost fanning open the ribs. Take a moment to contract your tummy muscles, just activating your core, making sure we've got all those muscles turned on. Point your nose towards the hand on the floor. Look forward to me. Point your nose up towards the sky. Look forward, big inhale. Flip the palm, cactus. Straighten and extend. Move through that shape a few times, allowing your breath to guide the pace. You can always go faster or slower, that's always okay. This time, cactus, pause. Try to push the elbow behind you, point your nose up to the sky. Great big inhale, exhale, look forward. Big, deep forward fold. No hurry or rush. Roll yourself up to a nice tall seat. Both hands lift high. This time, big inhale. Take a twist. One hand forward, one hand back. Unravel. Exhale, twist opposite direction. Unravel. Let's do it again. Each time you twist, separate the hands as much as possible. It's almost like someone is holding your wrist, pulling them away from one another. Twisting from the belly button, wringing out the spine. When I'm feeling tight through my back, nothing feels better than a great big twist. At least for me. I hope that's true for you too. Come back to center, pause. Take a big inhale, flip the palms, press the hands down, meet me in a tabletop position. Remember, you can always put something underneath your knees if you're feeling a little sensitive there. Push the floor away, lift the tummy in. Before we go anywhere, take a moment to feel long through the spine. Remember that feeling of our low back connecting with the mat, that lovely sensation of lengthening our low spine. Let's keep that for just a moment, and then begin to take a cat and a cow at your own pace. Now remember, cat and cow, at least for me, if I ever tell you to do it in a class, I'm really just asking you to find mobility through your spine. So you can keep it very traditional like I am now, but it might feel better to circle the head and tail. You can go in both directions. It might feel better to look over one shoulder back towards the opposite hip. Again, fanning your side body. Everybody's a little different. You don't have to look like me. Slow yourself down, pause, and again, contract the tummy, broaden across the chest. From here, extend your right hand up to the sky and pause. Envision I am pulling your wrist up to the sky. Your nose can look down, straight forward, or up. Take a nice big breath. As you exhale, thread the needle, drop your right shoulder down. Allow yourself to settle. Now your left hand can stay right in front of your face. You might crawl it away. Palm can face the floor, or you can kind of tent the fingertips, what feels better in your wrist. Notice what's happening in your hips. Sometimes it's easy to let them crawl over towards your left side body. See if you can keep them in line with the rest of your spine and shoulders, kind of knocking your right hip closer to the right side. Breathe easily here. If you need to unravel a little bit, of course, that's fine. This is a big one. You don't have to set the head down. Right here is perfectly fine if that is within our practice. Every body is different. No hurry, no rush. Remember, you can stay in any pose longer or shorter than me. I am just here to suggest. Bring the hand back in if it's extended, and reach your right hand back up to the sky. Set the hand back on the floor. Return to your cat and cow, your spinal mobility. Back and forth at your own pace, big or small. Slow it down, extend the spine long, a little bit of weight into your right hand as you lift the left hand high, stretching, pausing for a moment, big deep breath. Exhale, thread the needle, drop your left shoulder down, and I'm gonna move the mic real quick, just so I don't smash it. We have all those same options. You can crawl your right hand away. You can make sure that your hips aren't drifting to the right side, trying to bring them center in line with your shoulders. Take all the time you need here. No need to hurry. No need to force the pose. At your own pace, bring the right hand in if it's extended. Unravel, stretching your left hand to the sky and set it back down. From here, extend your right foot back behind you, tucking the toes, pushing the heel back. Now, I love taking a small rock forward and back here. That always feels so good for my calf muscle. It's also a nice way to gently wake up the wrist a little bit more. Press the heel back, pause, and now can we round our back? Lightly tuck the tail. Think about separating the shoulder blades and dropping the chin to chest. For me, the more I envision pulling my pubic bone up towards my belly button, the bigger of a stretch I feel through my lower and mid back here.
Are your shoulders rising up to the ears? Can you soften them a little? Make sure there's no tension through the neck, the jaw. Let that go. Right foot in, left foot out, tuck the toes, push the heel back, and a little rock forward, rock back. Moving at your own pace. Slow yourself down, keep the heel pushing towards the ground behind you. Begin to round the back. Separate the shoulder blades, drop the chin, almost allow the head to become heavy. It's falling to the floor. Tuck the pelvis a little bit, finding a little more space for your lower spine. Slowly let that go. Bring both knees in. And we'll lie down on our tummy, getting there however you want to. That can always be an awkward position for some of us. Don't feel like you have to be perfect. Before we do any big back bending here, and we're not going for anything too big, let's activate our lower body just a little bit. Separate your legs about as wide as the mat. Press your pubic bone down into the floor. Think about pulling the belly button up and in, shoulders relax down. Stabilize through the feet, almost like you're trying to push your feet through the mat. We already talked about our thigh butt connection point. Let's think about it again. Take a big inhale for me. As you exhale, pick up your right leg and set it down. We'll simply lift and lower a few times. Now I do have my head lifted. You're welcome to stay in the same position as me. If you are, look at the very top edge of the mat to keep your neck in a soft, small extension. You can also just lower your forehead to your hands, a little pillow there. Feel your glutes, your hamstrings working. Notice if the weight is moving or shifting in your pelvis, in your hips. Can we keep it so even? Set the right foot down, stabilize through the right side. Navel in, shoulders soft. Exhale, lift up the left leg, set it down. Feel free to move through that shape a few times, going faster, slower than me. It's not about the speed. Almost pretend like you are moving through molasses, through peanut butter. It's hard to lift and lower. Set the foot down when you're ready. You can relax your head. I'm going to keep it lifted so I can talk to you. Bend the knees. A small windshield wiper. Elongate the feet again, just like before. Press the feet down. Contract your tummy. Squeeze your thigh butt connection point so much you could hold a pencil there, and bring your hands on either side of the ribs. Poke the elbows behind you, almost like they're trying to reach towards your heels. Take an inhale, roll the shoulders back. Start to lift the head, the chest up, a small cobra. Slowly let yourself roll down. Think of your body almost like a little sticker. It's stuck to the floor, and you start by peeling from the sternum, and then the rest of the body follows. And then same thing, lowering down. Go at your own pace a few times. Once more, notice what's happening through the pelvis. Is there more weight in one area? We want to keep a little bit of weight in the pubic bone, obviously. We want our low body active, pressing down through the feet, squeezing the thigh butt connection point, and almost stretching out and away from the low back. Sometimes we can compress that area. It might feel a little tense, a little tight. I want you to think about stretching and lengthening away from the midline of the back. Now, this time, roll all the way down and pause. Extend your right hand out and away like a T. Bend your left leg. Take a big inhale and roll to your right. Now, sometimes your foot might flop away, and sometimes we might drop it to the ground, whatever feels good for you. It's a great big twist, a really big one for our shoulders as well. If you've been seated hunched over at your desk, this is one of my favorite things to do. Perhaps extend your left hand to the sky. Depending on your practice, you might flip the palm, touch the back of your hand either to the middle of your back or even try to reach it towards the right hip a little, and use the back of the hand to help roll the shoulder and deepen your twist if you so choose. Absolutely up to you. Full big inhale. Big breath out. No hurry, no rush. Unravel, slowly making your way back to your tummy. Right hand in, left hand out, bend your right leg, and we'll twist in our opposite direction. Now, I don't know about you, but I always get a few pops in my back when I do this one. I am not, obviously, a physician or a physical therapist, but I've been told by both, pops are okay as long as they feel good, or as long as there's no pain, really. Reach the hand up to the sky if you want to. You could flip the palm once more, allowing the back of the hand to touch either the back of your right hip, the middle of the back, or you could even snake it towards your left hip. We'll use that bind to perhaps open up across the chest a little more. Breathe easily. Begin to unravel at your own pace. Bring the hands in front of your face. Let your head rest on your hands as you bend the knees in windshield wiper. From here, let's push back into a child's pose. Knees together or apart, absolutely up to you. It's your body, your practice. Personally, when I'm feeling tight through my low back, I like to open my knees and really stretch and lengthen. I'm not trying to arch the back at all, but I am trying to extend or reach my sitting bones to the wall behind me. So I'm not tucking the tail. Instead, I'm elongating. In fact, if you want a deeper sort of stretch and elongation, try crawling the fingers a little further away, softening the shoulders, relaxing the head. From here, roll yourself up to a seat. If kneeling doesn't work for us, it's okay. We're not going to be here long. You can take an easy seat. Hands to the lap, shoulders down the back, ears lift high. Take a nice big breath. Big sigh out. Find a tabletop. Tuck your toes. Find a downward facing dog, pushing your sitting bones up high. A soft bend in the knees. Don't worry about straightening the legs. Bend the knees as deeply as you'd like to reach your heart, your sternum towards the top of your thighs. Feel free to pedal through the feet, waking up the back of the hamstrings a little bit more. Feel free to point your nose from one direction to the other, looking from underneath one armpit and then the next. Hold for a moment. Knees bent or straight, absolutely your call. We'll be stepping forward into a low lunge. Now I realize that is more of a challenging sort of transition for us, so don't feel like you have to look like me. Personally, I like to lift the right foot up just a little, pull the knee in, and step between my hands. Of course, if you need a different transition, that is wonderful. This would be a great place for blocks if we feel like we want them. Once we've arrived, settle and start to rock side to side. I like to send my weight from one hand to the other, and then I like to rock my weight into the front foot, into the back foot. Find your center and drop the back knee down if that feels comfortable. I always untuck the toe to relieve pressure from the knee. Keep your left hand down, bring your right hand to the top of your right knee and start to twist, stacking the shoulders, broadening across the chest, maybe pointing your nose to the sky. Could we extend the arm up and away? Holding there for a moment. Envision trying to reach your pubic bone closer to your right heel, like you're trying to extend your hips closer to the front of the mat. Take a nice big breath. Drop the hand down. And a few times push your hips back and forward. Your leg may not fully straighten. It's perfectly fine if it doesn't. We're all different. Sometimes it feels better to me to walk the hands a little closer to my hips. I've got short arms myself, so I kind of crawl with them.
Now, depending on your body, we might not stay here very long, or you might need to double up on the mat or bring a blanket underneath your left knee. But perhaps we could straighten the leg as much as whatever feels good for us. Now, depending on your proportions, I always have to crawl my toe a little further forward so I can lengthen the leg as much as possible. I hold here, actively flex my foot, and then I'll rotate through the hip internally and externally. I let my hips shift as I do so. Often when we're feeling really tight through our back, getting our hips to have a little more mobility can make such a big difference. No hurry, no rush. Bring your right hand inside the foot and then snake the leg back behind you. Return to a child's pose, pause. Full big inhale, big breath out. Roll up to a seat. Inhale, reach the hands high if possible. Exhale, twist right. Unravel, exhale, twist left. Unravel, find a tabletop. Find your downward facing dog. Notice what feels different since the first time you've arrived here. Maybe we figure eight the hips. Maybe you bend and straighten the legs. Enjoy any movement that's calling to you. As we did on the first side, we will step forward now with the left foot, allowing yourself to transition in that way in any way that feels good for you. Once you've arrived, start to rock the weight from right hand to left hand. Maybe rocking the weight forward and back. Settle, drop the knee, untuck the toe. Put a little more weight into your right hand, left hand to the top of the thigh so we can roll the shoulders, stack. Extend the arm up to the sky if you so choose. I like to make sure that both shoulders are on top of each other and the wrist is right on top of that. Nose can point in any direction that feels good for your neck. Take a nice big inhale. Bring the hand down. Start to send the hips back and forward. Once more, you can move the hands with you as you do this. It's more just about the mobility currently. And again, if we've got sensitive knees, feel free to bring something underneath your right knee. Sometimes it's easy just to double up on the mat. Send your hips back, pause, and if you need to, you can crawl your foot further forward, flexing. Maybe imagine trying to reach your left sitting bone towards the wall behind you, deepening the stretch for your hamstring. And we'll start our little rotation, turning the toes from one direction to the other. Now we are rotating way up high in our ball and socket joint. My toes, my knee, my ankle, they are moving in space, but it's coming from the hips where that movement is really happening. Slow yourself down, bring your left hand inside, and once more, take the foot behind you so we can tip back into our child's pose. Roll yourself up to a seat. Inhale, both hands lift high. Exhale, twist right. Unravel. Exhale, twist left. Unravel. Find your tabletop. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Maybe we can fully straighten our legs now. It might feel better to keep them bent. The goal of downward dog is not a straight leg or heels to the ground. Really, the goal is more about the spine, having a long, straight spine. No matter where you're at, knees bent or straight, try to lift the heels high away from the mat. Lightly tip your pelvis. We're not arching the back, but we are sending our sitting bones up to the sky. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, swivel your heels and drop them over to the right side of the mat. Inhale, they rise high. Exhale, they swivel to the left. Feel free to do that a couple more times. Now, I will fully admit to you that as I do that, my feet
start to travel back towards the edge of the mat further away than I'd like them. So if you need to walk them forward as you do this, I have to as well. But one of my favorite ways to give my IT bands a little stretch, my hamstrings a deeper stretch, and again, making sure that when we are feeling tight through our low backs, we're also paying attention to our hips, our legs as well. Slow yourself down, bend your knees, send your sitting bones high. Once again, we'll step our right foot forward in whatever way works for you. Immediately drop your knee to the floor if possible. Could we place one or both hands on top of our knee? If we need to send our hips back a little bit, that's okay. This is a big position. In fact, you might actively rock back for just a moment. Take a moment to squeeze your thigh-butt connection point, rising out of the waist. And then as you exhale, let your pelvis gently move forward. Shoulders down, ears up. Maybe extend your left hand to the sky. Rotate your pinky inward. Grow 2 inches taller. Take a small inhale. Little exhale. Could you lean to your right side? Envision growing long from your left knee, through the front of your left thigh, to your hip, out your side body, out your extended right arm, like you're making a little half rainbow with your body. Let that go. Bring both hands on the inside edge of your right foot and heel toe your right foot to the edge of the mat, coming to a lizard pose. Give yourself a moment to settle. This is a big one. Just like we did a moment ago, if you want to knock the hips back so you can sink into it, that's always okay. Like we were doing in our first Anjaneyasana, our first low lunge, if you want to sway your weight, move the body a little side to side, of course, go for it. And like we did, we'll send our hips back and forward. Having the leg a little wider means we'll hit a few different muscles, a few different joints. You still have the ability, the choice to walk the hands with you as you do so. This time, send the weight back. You can crawl the toes forward if you want. The more I flex my foot and the more I try to reach my sitting bones to the wall behind me, the deeper of a stretch I feel behind my leg. I feel through the back of my body. Now, I have a habit of turning and talking to you and kind of jetting my chin in all different directions. I would invite you to drop the chin for a moment, making sure it's in line with the rest of your spine. Take a big, deep inhale. Big breath out. Circle the leg behind you. Sink back into your child's pose. Give yourself a moment to settle. Roll yourself to a seat. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, twist right. Unravel, exhale, twist left. Unravel, find a tabletop. Find your dog. When you're ready, lift the left foot, step between the hands. Once more, drop the back knee down. Could we walk our left hand and possibly right hand up? Like we talked about on the first set, if you want to back up for a minute, making sure we have length, giving your thigh butt an extra little squeeze, and then dropping down. That can be a really wonderful way to feel a deeper stretch. This is a big one. I know it. If you'd rather lift the knee away and keep your hands on the floor, of course, that's fine. Do you have the ability to extend your right hand up? See if you can rotate the pinky and grow 2 inches taller and maybe lean towards your left side. Notice if you're looking down, could you keep the shoulders stacking one on top of the other? Rise up when you're ready. Place both hands inside of your left foot and heel toe the left foot to the edge of the mat, sinking into your lizard. Once more, if you want to back the hips up, take a moment to settle, and then reach them forward. Go for it. We can sway a little, maybe rocking the weight from one side to the other. Sometimes I really externally rotate the bent left leg. You absolutely don't have to do that. Everyone's hips are so unique and even unique from side to side. It's okay if we don't look the same. Slow yourself down. Pause for a moment. I know I didn't say it on the first side, but that's okay. Roll the shoulders and try to reach your heart, your sternum lightly forward just for a moment. Take a big inhale and now exhale. Push the hips back. Inhale, rock it forward. Go back and forth at your own pace. And my friend, if you inhale when I exhale or vice versa, it's certainly not the end of the world. I'm more concerned with us continuing to breathe than doing the exact right breath. So honestly, what feels most natural is always really the best option. Send the hips back, pause. Try to lightly tip your pelvis so your sitting bones are pointing towards the wall behind you. You can find a little movement there. And again, if we're on blocks, that's fabulous. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we need that extra height. Slow yourself down. Bring the leg back behind you and relax. Roll yourself up to a seat, and we'll actually bring our legs out in front of us this time. Open your feet about as wide as the mat. Bring your hands behind you, shoulders lowering down, chest long. Your fingers can point in whatever way feels best for your wrist. You don't have to go the same exact way as me, but we'll simply take a lovely windshield wiper right here. Come to center and pause. Not everyone's going to want to do this, and it's perfectly fine if we do not, but perhaps cross your left ankle over your right knee. If that's too much, we don't have to. See if you can roll the shoulders, lift the heart and chest, contract the tummy. If it's in your body today, open up across the chest more and maybe lift your heart, your sternum, so we get a little extra stretch there for our upper back, our thoracic spine. Let that go and start your windshield wiper with this funky little figure 4. Return center, left foot off, right foot on, or vice versa if you did the other side. At first, stabilize, roll the shoulders back, puff your heart and chest up. We certainly don't want to just let the head knock back, but if you want to point the nose lightly up and away, you've got that strength in your neck, go right ahead. Let that go and begin your windshield wiper. Notice if one side feels very different than the other. That's perfectly normal. Begin to unravel, sitting tall and straight once more. Hands down, shoulders relax, ears high. Take a big, deep inhale, both hands lift. One hand down, opposite hand high. Find your side body stretch. Rise up, same thing. Now we'll repeat this one more time, but we'll take it a little bit more intensely. This is one of my favorite stretches for my low back.
And I'm actually going to face away from you so you can see my hips and my back. If you do not want to be in a kneeling position, that's perfectly fine. Just know that you're not going to move the hips in the way that I'm talking about. No matter where you're at, take a moment to roll the shoulders down, lift out of the waist. If you are seated in a hero's pose like me, kneeling, envision squeezing the inner thighs together, contracting the tummy muscles. Reach both hands high. Drop your right hand down. Grow longer through the left and lean to your right. Now this is a deeper variation of our stretch here, but if we want to go even further, push your hips over to the left. They might just lightly push, or you might have the ability to drop them to the ground. For me, that hits my lower side back like nothing else. Try pointing your nose towards the right hand. Try pointing your nose up towards your lifted left arm. Full big inhale. Slowly forward fold and bring your hips back on top of your body, finding a little forward fold. Roll yourself up. Prepare for your second side. Inhale, both hands lift. Exhale, left hand down, right hand high. Side body stretch. Feel free to stay. Maybe begin to move the hips away. Maybe we're able to set the hips down. Pointing your nose towards the left hand. Pointing your nose up towards your right arm. When you feel ready, forward fold. Roll yourself up to a seat, lie on your back once more. Take your arms out in a T. Once more, press into your feet, lengthen your low back. Feel the support of the ground. Bring your right knee into your chest, give it a hug. You might hold underneath the thigh or around the front of the shin, it's fine either way. Circle in your ball and socket joint. Circle the knee around. Bring the knee a little closer towards your chest or even towards your right armpit. Maybe extend the left leg long. It can be bent, it might be straight. Sometimes it feels good to lightly hover it away and actively stretch. Try whatever feels good for you and your body. Full big inhale. Big breath out. Let your left foot return to the floor, right foot as well. And then left knee to chest, little hug, little squeeze, circling around in your ball and socket joint. Pulling a little closer towards your sternum or towards the left armpit, what feels better for you. Perhaps extending the right leg away. Your toes can be pointed, flexed, or soft. Whatever is better in your body is perfectly fine. Now bring both knees in towards your chest. Knees can be together or separate. Elongate the legs up to the sky. There can be a soft bend in your legs. They do not have to be fully straight. Take your hands out to a T, flex and point the feet. Circle the toes. Circle in both directions. A big deep flex one more time. Heels up, toes pull towards your kneecap. One more big inhale. Relax the legs, slowly let them fall to the floor. You can stay here. You might windshield wiper. Take any final movement that feels good for you, and then begin to settle into your Savasana. Feet together, knees apart, legs elongated. You could even roll to one side or come to a seat. Remember, there's no such thing as a perfect Savasana, no such thing as a perfect pose. Simply the one that feels perfect for you in this moment. Take a full, big inhale through the nose. Big, deep sigh out the mouth. Again, cool breath in. Warm sigh out. Simply allowing your body to relax. And sometimes that can be a hard thing to ask our bodies to do. So instead of thinking about relaxing, could you envision softening, melting, taking these last few moments to remove any feeling of control? Take note of how your body feels. What's changed since you began class? Stay here as long as you like, or start to wiggle the fingers, perhaps touching each finger to your thumb. Eyes can stay closed. You might flutter them open. Inviting movement, big or small, fast or slow. Eventually rising to a seat. Pause for a moment, shoulders down, ears high. As always, my friends, take a small bow of your chin to your chest. Gratitude, appreciation for everything your body accomplished for you. And as always, pat yourself on the back. Thank yourself for doing something so good and just for you. I certainly hope you enjoyed class. I cannot wait to see you again.